Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today we're going to do another demonstration video. I'm going to teach you guys the basic conventional deadlift, and please don't litter the comments in this video with questions about other types of deadlifts because those are completely different lifts. I will be covering them in their own videos. They're completely irrelevant to this topic. Now, I will be covering again the conventional deadlift. This is the version of the deadlift you're to do in my novice program, and there's a couple of pointers that we're going to discuss in this video, and that is cueing yourself to pull backwards instead of up, which is the most important part of the deadlift in my opinion, as well as how to correctly position your back and your shoulders into a safe position on the movement with minimal thoughts involved, so that it should be counterintuitive. You shouldn't have to be spending a lot of time thinking about it. If you are, then you've got the wrong cues. It should be very, very easy. The deadlift is a very, very basic lift. Now, the most important part of the deadlift is getting the pop that you need off the floor, because if you can get a weight started fast enough off the floor, which is the weakest biomechanical position of the deadlift for a host of reasons which I've covered in other videos, then you can lock it out. Raw deadlifters who miss lockouts, it's almost always because they don't get enough speed coming out of the bottom. It's very rarely their lockout strength. And this is true whether you're a strength athlete, a bodybuilder, whatever, but particularly powerlifting, but it's irrelevant. It's about getting speed out of the bottom. That will recruit the most muscle fibers also. And the other thing I want you to remember is that you will be resetting on every rep. I am not a believer in touch and go deadlifts, and I know you guys say, well, this person or that person is. They make up less than 2% of the strength training world. You will find most strength and conditioning coaches and most championship level powerlifters do not touch and go deadlift. The ones that do are the exception, and that's why they get highlighted and people make a big deal about them, because they're rare. Majority of people will make better progress not doing that. Those who make better progress doing it are the exception, and I still feel it's dangerous. So let's go ahead and demonstrate the basics. Okay, you guys aren't going to be able to learn as much from this front view other than spacing. Now, for me personally, I get the best pop out of the bottom with a very narrow stance and narrow grip. Narrower than most people. Mine is closer to, actually even narrower than Richard Hawthorne, who is a deadlift world record holder who recommends the very, very narrow. It has to do with your individual leverages. Now, what I recommend is when you come up to the bar, when you look down, you want the bar almost touching your shins before you do your setup. For me, I like them about 2 inches in front of my shins before I reach down and pull. The thing you want to keep in mind, I recommend pulling down with one arm at a time, and the reason for that is so that you can get your shoulder blades back. You want your shoulders back on a deadlift, and if you can keep your shoulders back and your hips back like this, your back will automatically stay in the safe position. So it's letting hips roll forward and shoulders roll forward that allows your back to get into position that will hurt you. As long as you can do that, your back will generally stay in a safe position. And the other thing is that locking the elbows is important. When you see someone tear their biceps on a deadlift, 99% of the time they had a bend in their elbows. So if your elbows are completely locked and stay locked, there's no risk of injuring a bicep, or it's almost non-existent. So what you do, you get your hips back, shoulder blades back, elbows locked, reach down, grip the bar hard. I use a mixed grip, and that's what I think most people should use. So you get the bar, and what I recommend is that you drop down. So you pull the slack out of the bar and you drop, because you either need to roll the bar or drop if you want to learn the mental cue of pulling backwards. And I start way over the bar, and I'm in a bad position now, but the hips are back, shoulder blades are back. I drop, pull, drive through the heels, lock out at the top. Same thing, reset, drop, pull through the heels. Let's get this from a side view so that we can learn a lot more. All right, when we get to a side view, you'll be able to see what I'm doing better. You'll notice I come up to the bar, stay planted hard on the heels, shoulder blades back, and my hips aren't forward like this. My hips come back just a bit, and that is what puts your lumbar into that position you want, to where you get a curve in it. It's just by pulling your hips back, and that's it. That's all it requires. As long as your hips stay back, your lower back will not roll. Same with the shoulder blades. If you keep them back, your lower back will not roll. Lock the elbows, bend down tight, grip the bar, take a deep breath, drop the hips until you feel tension in the hamstrings, and when those hamstrings get tight, you're ready to explode. So it's you pull up, drop, boom. Notice I lock out to here, and you let the hips shoot forward at the very top of the lockout. A lot of guys way hyperextend like this. Don't do that. And you also want to avoid that same chicken head movement I was talking about with barbell rows. You'll see guys who do that. They come down and they get themselves set down really low and they pull their neck back. And it basically, if you do that, it's going to turn your deadlift into a squat, and you don't want to do that. So again, it should be smooth. You get tight, shoulder blades back, hips back, elbows locked. Always test the bar and get a good pull first to get you into what I call like a pre-motor loading, to where your nervous system gets ready, because you get tight, you pull down, drive through the heels. Reset, pull down, drive through the heels. And there you have it. Those are the different cues, the mental cues that you need to safely execute a deadlift. And remember, it's hips back, shoulders back, pull the slack out of the bar, drop to get tight, and to pull backwards, and then drive up through the heels. And you should be pulling backwards, not up. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.